All right, hey everybody, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out as always. So back to some Vynnset content here. I figured we'd pop open the list, take a look at where we're at these days. We haven't had like a huge shakeup in the meta in a while, so it's sort of been business as usual. But I'm on sort of like a pretty hard mid-range list. Allows us to be a little versatile into different matchups, and maybe we'll talk through Jarl a little bit. He hasn't made that big of an impact, but he's certainly popular in my meta, so maybe we'll take a look and talk through that lens. We got some really exciting news as of late. I think it was during one of the dev talks. They mentioned that Vynnset's going to get some more support in an expansion slot in the Hunted, so really excited to see what that's going to be. And there'll definitely be videos about that, talking through how it's going to impact the deck, what the deck might look like in response to that, all that kind of stuff. So we'll come back to that when we get news for sure. But for now, let's just take a look at where we're at with the list. So this is like my hard mid-range list. We're back on blue Deathly Whale. The other idea is let's up the amount of blues a little bit. We're on 9 blues main board, but we have another 3 in the sideboard, so we can go up to 12 blues, which might make us a little bit more resilient into Jarl. Not gonna lie, like Jarl, just like any Guardian, is a rough one for us for sure. If they know how to play into Vynnset, that's the one thing, is like if you catch them off guard and they don't really know what to block or what to favor in terms of preventing on hurts, things like that, you can get away with it. But if you're against somebody who knows what Vynnset wants to do and are willing to shut those things down, it's going to be a rough one for you for sure. So begrudgingly, I'm down on Bounding Demagon, just down on those like 0 for 4s, no Swarming Gloomveil. So we're like reducing the ceiling of our deck a little bit, that go wide potential. We can still definitely go wide with the pieces we have access to, but in favor of just more of a versatile mid-range build. So up on blue Deathly Whale, we're still on Beseech the Demagon as a 3 of red. Shadow non-attack that just buffs for 3 works out well. We want those shadows to be able to like trigger our on hurts, push unpreventable damage. Deadwood Dirge to turn 1 chant into 3. And then we have our Runegate card. So Deathly Delight, 3 of. We have all 9 Deathly Whale, which feels good being back on the 9 because it is sort of a staple of the deck, and trying to roll those rune chants over to the next turn can be really important. So 3 of Deathly Whale, and the blues allow us to, like, again, be a little more resilient to something like Jarl where we need to like pay through some Frostbites or something. Eloquent Eulogy is a 3 of course, our only 1 cost Runegate card. Still on Funeral Moon. This is one that like I'd be on the fence to like cut, but it is quite versatile. It can make us action points with Eloquence. It can create us a rune chant when we want. It can block for 3 when we want. And it's also a shadow, so there can be some fun shenanigans there by pinging ourselves, sort of thing. So Malefic Incantation, also an all-star in the deck. A lot of lists, more recent lists, are running 2 of yellow Malefic as well to just help smooth out the deck even further. I like it as an idea. I haven't tested it personally, but it's something you could look into. But for now, I'm on 3 red Malefic Incantation, again, just to try and get those rune chants after we swing. Could float to the next turn, or could open up for a follow-up swing on Go Wide. 3 of Mauve Skies as a Go Again enabler. 3 of Shadow Puppetry for the same reason. Shadow Puppetry arguably better. I mean, Mauve Skies just forces them to block because they don't want us to create 3 rune chants when it hits. Shadow Puppetry on hit, less important, but can be very impactful. But it's more about the +1 is nice, helping us get over break points, and the shadow is the most important thing, allowing us to take that damage and guarantee our on-hurt abilities to trigger when we close the chain. Phantom Wraith is a 2 for 6 Runegate card. I'm on Phantom Wraith over Phantom Banshee. Some lists you'll see Phantom Banshee, which is 3 cost 7. So 3 cost 7, it's 1 more point of damage, but it's harder to get out. It does pair really nicely with a Deadwood Dirge, but it's pretty situational. So Phantom Wraith, there's less opportunity for bricking because this plays nicely with Deathly Whale. If we close the chain and make 2 chants, we can follow up with this. It's just like 2 is a lot easier to get around than 3, so I'm favoring consistency over that one extra point of damage is the decision there. We're on 2 of the widespreads in main board. Widespread Ruin, which banishes top of deck. It's a 2 for 6. Widespread Annihilation, which banishes from hand. Very impactful. As a main board, Blue again, which we want to see. It's a 4 cost Rune Gate card for 6. And then we're on the some other new pieces. Succumb to Temptations, All-Star and Vynnset. So easy to turn it on, like, because we can force Unpreventable Arcane, so that allows this to be on automatically. Restores action point, very relevant on hit. It has a lot going for it. Also blocks for 3, amazing. Machination also blocks for 3, so we have more 3 blocks in the deck now, which feels quite good. And this kind of replaces Blue Mauve Rains, guys. Gives Go Again, Overpower, because we're going to make our Rune Chants every turn anyways. So it gives Overpower and Go Again to our thing. Also blocks for 3, great. In the sideboard right now, you could go down to 2 envelops. I have another list that just has 2 envelops. So red envelop, idea is if we're putting in more blues, envelop and pummel work really, really well together in terms of a cost curve. This can also unstick us, creates us a Rune Chant token for 1. Feels really good on Tunic resource as well. For free, basically, you get 4 value, plus 3 and a Rune Chant. Also Shadow, which is relevant. So I'm on 3 of in this list. Can be 2 if you want to make room for like Husk, for example. Carrion Husk is not in this list, but it is good against like Azalea. But again, we'll see how the meta shifts here, especially moving into a new preview season with Hunted just around the corner. We'll see. But Envelop, 3 or 2, I would say. The biggest change about the sideboard is we are now on 9 D-Reacts. We have Sync Belows, Reduced to Rune Chants, and Haunting Rendition is not a D-React, but it is a block 4, so I kind of put it in the same category. It's a defensive card. It's also more versatile than that, though, because we can discard it to prevent 2 damage. Good against Wizard. Good into, like, Kodachis, I guess. Good into Assassin, where you can just prevent the 1 pings from the daggers and stop those on hits. And when you do use that ability, instant discard prevent 2, we get a Rune Chant, which is great on our first damage prevention. So we have more defensive pieces, which allows us to kind of like pivot back and forth between defensive, trying to get value over the long term with our Rune Gate cards, sort of like cheating stuff out. And we still have offensive output with things like Envelop in Darkness and Pummel, which is not super offensive, but it can disrupt big time. Read the Runes if we're going first. This is not quite a main board card anymore because we have better Rune Chant generation, essentially more consistent Rune Chant generation. If I'm going first, I tend to favor Read the Runes, but it is still good. You can cheat it in with Creepers, you can cheat it in with Eloquence to give it Go Again. So there are ways to make Read the Runes quite good. It's just a little less consistent. So it is still in the sideboard as a 2 of. We have Widespread Destruction to provide extra sort of like disruption if your opponent cares about Arsenal. This is our last widespread. It's a 3 for 6, which targets Arsenal when we close the chain. And then we have some extra blues. So 2 Shadow Averser, which can allow us to go wide as an additional cost. When you swing with this, you can banish a card with Blood Debt from hand to give it Go Again. That allows us to kind of like fill our banish, because sometimes that's the limiting thing. We might want to go wide, but we don't have access to enough Rune Gate cards. So this can be like offensive push. Offensive package is like Envelop in Darkness, Pummel, Shadow Averser, maybe the Read the Runes and the Widespread Destruction. Otherwise, we're targeting these defensive pieces here. We have Oblivion as well, which would be good into like Guardian, trying to like build up a big board of Rune Chants, trying to make a demon that we can swing with and try and go wide to go over the top, go over the wall. So I don't think Jarl is as like wall-like as some of our other Guardians like Victor and Bravo, but the disruption, the frostbites are pretty tough to deal with. Dyadic Carapace, essentially mini Husk, blocks for 3 or AB2 into Wizard. Ebonfold is just there for Spell Void 2 into Wizard. Phase Purge, quite good, gets better against heroes that want to go tall.
The dream is like block 7 with this, an attack action card, and even a 2 cost or a 2 block non-attack action. So we block 7, including this. We draw a card, they discard a card. Pretty good value proposition. And then Grim for the Rune Champ matchups when we need AB that is not, that's not susceptible to being destroyed when we break in case of emergency. So that's it. The rest is pretty standard loadout. So yeah, main difference is a few extra blues nowadays and a bigger defensive package to allow us to be a little more versatile. So let's jump on Talishar and see if we can, I wonder if we might just be able to like queue up a Jarl game. Look at that. Beautiful. All right, we found another Jarl. I don't know if I actually edited the other one out or not, but we were in a Jarl matchup. I'm not going first, but I am going to side in our extra blues and our offensive pieces. I didn't mind the decisions I made the first time, so I think we're going to go in the same direction. But yeah, we paired into another Jarl. I pummeled them. They set up Channel Lake Frigid, and then they quit for some reason. So we'll see if we can get a proper game in here. I'm favoring my offensive pieces because I think we just need to go over the top and have access to our offensive pieces. We have a decent setup turn here. Once again, they're going to set up Channel Lake Frigid, which I don't really care on turn 0, actually. Because I'm just going to pay 1 to play out the Deadwood Dirge. Allows us to kind of filter even further. And just pass, sitting on this Beseech. Couple Funeral Moons. I don't really want to see those at the same time. And a Pommel without a blue. Because blue would allow us to pay through Channel Lake as well. Yeah, a little bit of an awkward draw for turn 2. For our turn 2. But we'll see what they follow up with here. Funeral Moon can block it at worst. So even with Channel, we would just have to hold back one of the Funeral Moons. No, this is going to be a bit rough for us. Might have to pitch the Pummel or something. But they're just coming in with this. What does Summit actually do? When they say it's create a Phosphorate token, so we don't care about that. If this is the only card equipped, your weapon gets +2. That's really interesting. Heavy. Huh. I haven't actually properly read that. But anyways, we're not worried about the on hit. We probably just give them a Funeral Moon to soak up some damage, take 1. It is promising that they didn't like swing anything crazy big. So they might have a bit of an awkward draw as well. We're going to need to hold on to this to help pay through Channel Lake, which I thought was going to stick around, but they did not pitch ice cards. So we're actually fine. It wouldn't have changed the way we blocked anyways. So I wonder, I think I want to sit on the Deathly Delight, sort of like set it up. But we're going to go Beseech, paying, targeting the Whale, send a Whale for 4 and 9 when unpreventable. And then we'll end on 3 chance. I'll play this Funeral Moon out at the end of the turn. And then we'll be able to stuff a Pommel and Arsenal. Which is pretty good. So we're going to pay through the Arcane that they can prevent. Dealing with 9, we'll see if they want to preserve life total here. Looks like they might have some D-React. Yeah, Fate Foreseen. Do they have another D-React, I wonder? Let's see. They do. They have a Sink Below and Arsenal. So they're a pretty defensive build. We are going to have to work hard to get over that wall. So it's fine. We can play this out whenever. It doesn't really matter. We don't need to take damage again. We'll end the turn on 3 chance. Arsenal this card, take 1 to Blood Debt, and move on. We have a second Pommel. They played a Winter's Bite. So we could double Pommel them. That's kind of wild. Do we discard? Do we pay for... We pay with Succumb, I think. So we'll pay the 1 with Succumb. Put that on the bottom of our deck. They're going to end the turn. We're going to banish the Funeral Moon. And then we're just going to send the Delight. We could double Pommel here.
I wonder if that's the play. We'll see how they block. We could double pummel with Tunic, and it's like, do we want to? They're paying for Frost, or they're paying for Rune Chance. Do we want to double pummel? It's interesting. I've never double pummeled as Vynnset, honestly. It's pretty wild, especially since we only have 2 pummels in the deck. So do we want to spread the love? They're gonna block 6. Is it a D-React in Arsenal? Well, we're not going to double pummel because the discard doesn't do anything. But we will single pummel. Just to try and push some damage, I think. So that hits. It doesn't matter. We'll be able to make a chant before the end of our turn. Doesn't matter if we pay, we gain the life back, so it doesn't actually matter whether we pay or not. And then we'll gain 1 and pass, sitting on our second pummel. We know this is not a D-React. I guess we don't know, but like, ooh, we have a hunch. So I could banish the whale, like in hopes or like banking on the fact that the pummel's going to hit, but they do have a lot of D-Reacts. I think we banish the Delight. I think no matter what we banish the Delight, we go Mauve Skies, Delight, and then we pummel it. I forgot that we don't have another Rune Gate card banked in Banish. That's okay. So hopefully they don't play around the pummel here, because this is the dream, is like making a Mauve Skies hit from pummel. So now we kind of have to try, but chances are they have a D-React to respond. We'll see. If we get lucky, they don't. They don't. That's beautiful. So we'll get 3 chance. We'll get a card from their hand. That's pretty best case scenario. Ooh, they were trying to Spinal Crush us. So we want to preserve these rune chants. I don't want to swing Flail, so we're just going to pass and put the Shadow Averser in Arsenal, because that could allow us to do like a big 2-wide turn potentially. But we didn't really quite get the hand makeup for it, so we're just going to go Phantom Wraith, Malefic, not yet actually. I'm glad that didn't proc. Because I think we go Mauve Skies, Wraith, then Break Chain, Malefic, Urser, sit on the Dirge. I like that. That probably made very little sense, but the reason I want to do that is I want to end on a rune chant. So we're going to go Mauve Skies, Phantom Wraith for 4 and 6. Chances are they're going to take 1, give us a blue, and then, or give us a blue, then take 1. Or they just want to give us their whole hand. Probably not. I assume they're going to take this last rune chant and then cover up the physical. Yeah, so take 1, and then give us 2 cards to cover up the 6. Give us a Frosty, which I didn't actually really play around. We do have Tunic Resource, though. Do I have to... I think I have to Tunic in response... Sorry. Because I have to Tunic in response to their Frostbite trigger so that it doesn't tax the Tunic. Oh, and they get to do something different too. So they're going to get value off of their Tunic Resource, which is fine. Okay, so they're going to prevent all 4 with Tunic Resource and a blue. Then they're going to do their Frostbite shenanigans. And as soon as they do, we need to respond with Tunic. So get our resource. They can't let this hit. Yeah, they have... D-React for sure. Sink below. So that does not hit, obviously. We have 1 float, so we're able to still do the thing. Because I don't want to pitch this Dirge to do that. So we're going to play Malefic, Shadow Averser, so that we actually end on a rune chant. Send in a measly 2, but then we'll also be able to Arsenal this Dirge, which will allow us to play whatever the hell we want on our turn. So Arsenal Dirge. And beautiful, we get an Annihilation. We have all sorts of options. I'd love to keep all of this, but this has an on-hit. On-hit discard or pay 2 is kind of punishing. If we keep this whole hand, we're able to come in 2 wide.
with 2 whales. Assuming there's no tax. I can't really give any equipment, really. Which means, do we just let this hit and pay? I kind of don't hate just... I think we let it hit. I think we actually prevent some damage, let it hit, pay. I mean, yeah. It's best of both worlds. I think this is fine. Okay. Sorry, so the decision was soak up a little bit of damage. We're still going to pay. We're going to lose 2 cards there no matter what. Either I block it fully. Oh, that was dumb. I just block it fully. We can't undo at this point, can we? That was really stupid. I just like block with the 2 and then you don't need to pay. So I just took 2 damage for no reason. Okay, well, we're in this boat anyways, so it's fine. We screwed up there. I don't know what I was thinking. So just block it out, and then the tax doesn't happen. I don't know. Brain fart. But anyways, we're going to move on. Mistakes can always be made. So we're going to dirge one of these chants, turn it into 4. We're going to go machinations. Like, this is sort of classical. This is sort of classic, like, give go again, whale, flail. So that we at least guarantee ending on 1 chant. 2 in this case with Malefic Incantation. 3 if they decide to take damage. We're also at 4 rune chants, which is sort of like a rune chant breakpoint without Tunic. So they're going to soak up 3, take 1. Then they're dealing with 6 overpower, which they give us Command and Conquer and whatever the hell this is. It doesn't really do anything on block as far as I can tell. And then we're just going to follow it up with Flail. So we'll be able to end on 2 chants. We took damage, they took damage. If they don't block this, then we'll end on 3. Awesome. Pass. Let's see what else we can draw into. This hand, is irrelevant because they have a friggin' Oakenold. This card is so punishing. There's no world where we cover this up. The best we can do is 3, 5, 6, 7, literally, if we give them everything. So this will hit. We will discard 2 cards at random. Best case is like they let us keep incant and something else, but I think do we just let this hit? Is that crazy? I don't know. I'm feeling crazy. We're going to let it hit. We're going to discard or bottom 2 cards. So they let us keep 2 very good cards, which is awesome. So we're going to bottom these. That was kind of best case Ontario. Play another Malefic. Play out a very punishing card. Widespread Annihilation will end on 2 chants. We're forcing them to basically either give us their hand or take damage and give us their hand. I don't know. Like, there's not much options here. So they soak up all the rune chants, and they're going to give us cards. They're going to give us a Frostbite, which is fine. I don't know why they care about covering this up. I don't know if you're... Yeah. Stalagmite's fine here. I guess the tax, they're hoping that the tax might slow us down on our next turn. But we'll see what we draw into. So 2 chants going into our next turn. We have a blue, so we can pay through Frostbite. We have a Deathly Whale, and we have 2 Shadow Puppetries, which is great. They did something. When this enters the arena, put a -1. At the beginning of your action phase, destroy this to give something dominate. Kind of scary, but they don't have Arsenal. So I'm not that scared. Yeah, I don't know about the whole Stalagmite block there. Anyways, we do want to pay here. The Shadow Puppetry for Whale. So we'll make a rune chant on the back end. 3 and 7, 1 unpreventable. If they let us see what's on top, that's awesome for us.
And one thing I'm like thinking about into Jarl is like preserving my equipment. Obviously, we don't want to give them opportunity to make frostbites in empty equipment slots. So I'm really waiting as long as possible for vexing. We've been lucky enough to have our Ruchant generators to not have to use vexing to unstick us. So I'm trying to make that a thing for as long as possible. I know they have a card that like can blow up our tunic at some point, so it's something we need to be aware of, but they full block this. Do we follow it up with Flail? And if we knew we were going to follow it up with Flail, no, I think no matter what you pay for Shadow Puppetry in case they let it hit. But if I follow it up with Flail, no matter what, we're ending on 2 chance, so I think that's the play. Send 1 and 1. It's awkward enough. They probably don't want to give us any equipment for this. And their one equipment that they probably didn't care about blocking is locked up. So they are going to give us their last card. I think that's a good trade. We're going to make 2 chance and sit on this Shadow Puppetry. Floating the blue. This gives something dominate. Doesn't matter. They don't have any cards. I'd love to be able to go 2 wide here. Which I think is possible. They don't have Arsenal. So Banish Destruction. Is this the world where we start to... So if we do... I mean, yeah, we just do Shadow Puppetry, Destruction, Ruin. Could even Creepers in the... I think that's just the play. We don't need to get super fancy with Creepers here. I was thinking about Creepersing in the Shadow Puppetry, but we want to at least guarantee that Shadow Puppetry is going to be okay this turn. So I want to pay to guarantee, even though like we're not targeting Arsenal here, but if I want to activate Creepers, I want to make sure that one of my rune chants are going to hit so that it doesn't just break this turn. But we got to start going 2 wide. So this is going to be for 1 Unpreventable and 7. 1 Unpreventable, 2 Arcane, then 7 go again. So they're using Tunic Resource. I don't know why yet. Maybe they don't have that many blues in hand, which I think would be interesting for Jarl. We'll see. So I did block with a red for what that's worth. Are they going to let this hit? No, they probably have a D-React. So D-React, block the full 7. That's fine. We're going to follow up with a Widespread Ruin, and then we still have a decision at the end. Ooh, interesting. Unless we pay 2. That's fine, actually. So we're going to pay 2, and that sort of made the decision for us. So we're also just going to grab Tunic Resource here. We'll let this resolve. And then we are not going to activate Creepers. It's fine. We're just going to sit on this, read the runes in Arsenal. But we're going to follow up with another 6. Are you going to give me your last card in hand? The answer is no. So they're going to take 6 down to 13. So we're still in good shape here. What? Oh, yeah. So that's actually really mediocre for us in a way. Interesting. So we want to play out this Widespread Annihilation. We have to banish something like Widespread or Mauve Skies, unfortunately. Tunic is only at 2. Like, do we just force this out, I wonder? Or do we just, like, set up? I'm going to take it. So we could force this out by, like, pitching one of the envelops. Is it good, though? We'd come in for 4 and 9. It would strip their hand. Or we just try and do something crazy. No, I don't know. I think... Because the decision here is, do we read the runes, just set up 6 chance, move on to our next turn, and try and, like, really be explosive? Because we have a bit of a life lead right now. Or are we scared of what they're setting up? Because they kept that arsenal for a reason. I don't know. I'm going to try and get greedy here. This might be a mistake, but we'll look back
So I'm just going to set up a bunch of chance, set up for a big turn, because otherwise that turn would have been quite good. But I think at this point we want to try and push big damage. But we'll see if we get like immediately punished here with an Oakenold or something. We also didn't draw into any other Runegate cards, which is awkward. We can't proc Face Purgatory. So, I mean, it's sort of fine. Tunic is still not going to be up. But we could pay for one of the envelops. Channel Lake Frigid is not great for us, but we could just like keep setting up. I wonder if we just keep setting up. So banish what? Banish what? Banish the envelop. Banish the envelop, play the reed. No, undo. Oh, sorry. So, I don't actually, that might have been the play anyway. Do we do the same thing? I'm just wondering if I keep the envelop, but like if they're going to be able to tax us, then envelop's probably not the play. No, I'm going to keep it. Let's do beseech. Play reed, pitching. Let's pitch envelop. So I guess it wouldn't have mattered. So we're on 10 chance now. So they're gonna have to make something happen, which they might be able to. Icequake, +3 if it hits Frostbite. So big dominated 9. On hit Frostbite is not great. They're going to get our Envelop in Darkness, which is also not great. But we are going to be coming in for a pretty big turn. So there's no world where we cover this up. So let's just keep the hand, right? Yeah, we'll take 9. Tunic, Pummel. That's not great. So we take 13 down to 7. We discard. So we have a Frostbite. We're not going to have to pay through this channel. So do we keep the Widespread? I think we keep the Widespread. Discard the Malefic, unfortunately. Yeah. Okay, banish the Wraith. Play Shadow Puppetry, paying for the Frostbite. Don't need to pay the life. Come in with Widespread Annihilation for 11. It's too bad we didn't have our pumps. We got a little too greedy, I think, trying to build these rune chants up. But they are still going to take a bunch of damage here. I'm hoping it's enough, but I don't know it's enough. So there's 5 more rune chants after they pitch 6. So they're going to take 5 down to 9, give us 2 cards. 7. They do still have Crown. So with Crown and Tunic, they're not just dead. I guess it depends. They have 2/2 blocks. That's punishing. Are they dead? I don't know that we care for another one of those. So we'll say no. We break Chain, we break Vexing, we come in for 8. They can block 3. They're going to go to 3. So I think they die Exaxes. They die Exaxes. So the build-up did pay off in this case, but it was risky. So that's the thing I don't know about Jarl. Very good game. Very, very, very good game. So that's the thing I don't know about Jarl is, you know, do we favor building up? What type of Jarl deck it is? Is it, again, I don't think Jarl is like fully solved yet. So there's a couple different ways you could take the deck, a couple different directions you could decide to go in when you're deck building. So, yeah, I don't know if we're supposed to favor those like build up turns, which is harder to do as Vynnset, honestly. And there, like, we got a little bit punished for it on that big, like, pummeled CNC. But
it still ended up paying off. We built up enough rune chance to like go over the top there for endgame. So I don't know if that's the game plan or whether we should have just like kept medium pressure on. It's tough to know with Jarl because you can still sneak through points of damage here and there. They're less of a brick wall compared to some of the other Guardians. So anyways, an interesting matchup. I'll need some more reps on it to really know our game plan. We did misplay once really, really clearly, and you know, never going to play anything perfectly, but yeah, we're going to leave it at that for now, and I'll talk to you guys real soon. Cheers, everybody.